In 2023, people are gone? Nah. Look back at this moment right here and say that when the tide began to turn for Bitcoin. If you don't believe me, then just wait. But if you do believe me, then make sure you stay tuned because today we re-gone. Talk about why I think this is the beginning of the end for the bears. Why now might be the perfect time to buy the dip before the next leg up plays out. And finally, what crypto analyst Plan C just predicted about Bitcoin's price action in 2023 that could shock the entire market. Because let me tell you, his prediction is absolutely insane. If you're new here, welcome to my channel, home of the largest and greatest crypto community in all the interwebs. Every day on this channel, I show you how to make money in crypto. If you like money in crypto, then make sure you stay tuned because every day I'm putting out a new video showing you how to make money in this market. The last few months have been extremely tough for Bitcoin bulls. After seeing a huge rally from the November 2022 low of around 15,000 up to the December high of over 19,000, Bitcoin has gone on to print 3 straight bearish candles. But I have good news. I think the tide is about to turn. We're going to start seeing some major FOMO return to the market. And before too long, everyone will forget about this little hiccup in the road and get back to work making Lambos. To understand why, let's take a look at this chart of Bitcoin's realized volatility, which basically shows us how much the price has moved over the last 365 days. As you can see, ever since the March 2020 halving event, Bitcoin's realized volatility has been on a linear decline. This is because after the 2020 halving, Bitcoin entered into a period of consolidation where it didn't move very much at all. The price traded between roughly $4,000 and $15,000 for nearly 2 years. So obviously, there was very little volatility during that time. But now, if we zoom in, you can see that the realized volatility is beginning to pick up. And that's not a good sign for the bears. To put this in simple terms, one of the key characteristics of a bear market is that prices trend down and remain range-bound, meaning they trade within a well-defined range for an extended period of time without moving much. You know this chart? Yeah, this is what a bear market looks like. Conversely, in a bull market, prices trend up and continue to make higher highs and higher lows. And frankly, Bitcoin looks nothing like this right now. So what does that mean for the price of Bitcoin? Well, according to some of the best analysts in the space, the answer is pretty clear. In a recent tweet thread, crypto analyst Plan C went through each of the previous Bitcoin cycles and showed how long it took for the market to bottom and capitulate. As you can see, it took less than a month for the 2009 cycle to bottom, less than 2 months for the 2013 cycle to bottom, 4 months for the 2017 cycle to bottom, and 8 months for the 2020 cycle to bottom. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is useless information. All that means is that the bear market lasted longer the further we got into the cycle. Well, that's true, but it also means that the deeper we go into a cycle, the shorter the bear markets become. For example, the 2017 cycle had a bear market that lasted 268 days, while the 2020 cycle had a bear market that only lasted 132 days. So Plan C argued that since the 2020 cycle was the most parabolic, we should expect the 2024 cycle to be even stronger. And by extension, we should expect the bear market that follows the 2024 cycle to be the shortest yet, which is exactly what we're starting to see. Then to add fuel to the fire, he tweeted this chart, which shows the average price of Bitcoin during January for each cycle. As you can see, each cycle has gotten more expensive except for the 2022 cycle. Well, guess what? January isn't over yet. It's currently February, so Bitcoin still has a few days left to turn this around and get in line with historical precedent. So far, Bitcoin has averaged around $17,000 this month, which is significantly lower than the 2021 average of $25,000. But if you look at the chart, you can see that the price is trending upwards. So there's a good chance that Bitcoin ends the month above the 2021 average. And if that happens, it would signal that the 2024 cycle is poised to be the strongest yet. But even if Bitcoin doesn't close above the 2021 average price, that won't mean anything anyway, because if you zoom out, you can see that every single cycle has had a significant pump in January. For example, the 2017 cycle bottomed in December at $785. Simply put, January is the month where Bitcoin does its best, and this year is no different. Plan C tweeted, "Bitcoin is oversold in the short term, but that's usually when the market does its best. In the last 4 cycles, the average low point of the local bottom is 19 days before the January high, which is the highest of the first 30 days of the year. And guess what? We're currently 19 days away from the end of January. So what should you do with this information? Well, you should realize that these dips are temporary. They're just buying opportunities in disguise. And as long as you don't panic and sell, you'll be rewarded. And if you're a hodler, you don't need to worry about this at all. Just hold your bags and watch them grow. Finally, if you want to stay updated with everything going on in the market, make sure you download our app, The Know, one place for crypto news, analysis, and education. When you hear Plan C talking about the importance of January, it makes you wonder, why is January such an important month for Bitcoin? What is it about the start of the new year that causes this massive explosion in price? Well, the answer is pretty simple. It's supply and demand. See, every year at the start of January, miners reevaluate their operations to see if they're profitable. And if they determine that they aren't, they'll scale back production, which reduces the supply of newly minted Bitcoin entering the market. Less supply, more demand equals higher prices. But there's another reason why Bitcoin sees such strong demand in January. And that's because people use the new year as a time to reflect on their finances and make resolutions for the future. And one of the most common financial resolutions is to invest more in 2024. That's why every year we see a massive influx of new investors pouring money into stocks, bonds, real estate, and yes, Bitcoin. The problem is that most of these people have no idea what they're doing. So they just throw their money at whatever asset is making the biggest headlines at the time. And this year, it's AI. That's why Bitcoin is taking a hit right now. The media wants everyone to know that AI is the future, and they've convinced enough people that it's true. So they're throwing money at AI, leaving Bitcoin behind. But it won't last long. Eventually, the headlines will move on to something else, and all that money will flood back into Bitcoin. And when that happens, we're going to see a massive rally that nobody is expecting. Frankly, it's already started. Over the last week, Bitcoin has gained nearly 10%, mostly on the back of bullish news and positive sentiment. And if this momentum continues, I think we're going to see a repeat of what happened in 2021. Back then, something similar could happen this year. Bitcoin is currently trading at around $23,000, which is right in the middle of a range that it's been consolidating in for the last few weeks. If history is any indication, the price will break out of this range in the coming days and head towards $40,000, maybe even $50,000. And when that happens, it will kick off a new wave of FOMO that will draw in even more money to the market. So if you're a believer in Bitcoin, then this is just another buying opportunity for you. Don't let the short-term volatility get you down, because as Plan C has shown, the future is bright for Bitcoin. That being said, I want to know what you think. Do you agree with Plan C's analysis? You think Bitcoin is set to make another run to new all-time highs this year? Or do you think the bear market has more room to run? Let me know in the comments below. As always, if you're interested in going deeper into the rabbit hole, I want to invite you to a special event that we're hosting on February 8th. During this event, I'll be revealing the top 5 cryptos I'm buying in 2024, including one tiny altcoin that could make you millions. If you want to find out what cryptos these are, then click the link in the description to get your complimentary ticket. See you guys on the next video.